Good morning and welcome to Flip With Me. As the title indicates, my goal for 2024 is going from $0 to $100,000 on eBay. So basically the channel itself will be about reselling on eBay, and a little more specifically, my personal journey on getting to 100,000 in sales, not net. That'll be in sales within this year. As far as video style, it'll be a combination of vlog, items that sold, tips and tricks. There'll be some yard sale, garage sale, estate sale footage as well. I definitely enjoy doing that. The channel is really probably going to be meant for newer resellers, in a similar position to myself, starting from scratch, and things like that. If you're an experienced reseller, probably won't be for you, but hey, you're welcome to join. Welcome to watch regardless. Or if you just like watching reselling content, even if you aren't a reseller in any way, any capacity, welcome to follow along. My goal currently is to be posting one video per week. I do hope to ramp that up. I am brand new at videos and editing videos, so I will be getting some help from a friend who's done it quite a bit, but it's going to be a learning process along with the rest of this, so bear with me while the content gets better, I hope. So a few things I wanted to go over as far as this particular video will cover. It's going to be a little bit longer, I believe. The why behind this, why I'm doing eBay, and why I want to attempt this particular challenge of going to 100,000, how I'm going to do this, how I'm getting started will be the second thing. What my specific goals will be. Obviously, along the way, you'll see the trials and tribulations. I am not an expert by any means in any part of this process, so it will be a learning experience throughout. Hoping if anybody does end up watching this and you have some experience and knowledge, if you want to throw some tips in there, I'd be more than happy to take them into account and implement them into my particular business if it works well for me. So let's start with the why. To be honest, I'm not a complete beginner with eBay. This is not my first time. This is my third go with eBay. I started a little over 5 years ago, actually almost exactly 5 years ago, for my first time, just selling a few things from around the house. Long story short, I came into some medical difficulty at the time. I could not work at my normal job that I had at that time. So I decided, I still needed to pay bills. So I started looking around the house for things to sell. And that eventually led to purchasing things to sell. And that's when I fell in love with yard sales, garage sales, estate sales, all the sales. And I did it for about a year and a half at that point. But it was extremely part-time because I went back to work a couple months later. So it was part-time. It was more of a hobby, side hustle. When I went back to work, I was still doing it for a little while. But I never really took it seriously. It was a fun thing to do in my off time, kept me occupied and things like that. Another big why I'm doing this is because I've realized over my years of being in the workforce, I don't enjoy being an employee. I feel like any job that I had lacked freedom of any kind. You were told when you can take a break, when you can use the restroom, when you can eat, and many more things of when you can't do things. There also wasn't a lot of creative freedom. The companies I've worked for had their standard set of rules, policies, procedures, things of that nature. Everything gets run up the chain. Everything takes forever. As far as things changing, they usually do not. And if they do, it is years in the making of doing so, which I understand, thousands, tens of thousands of employees, big changes take time to evolve. However, that being said, it wasn't and isn't my cup of tea, so to speak. It's not really what I'm looking for. So that leads into the next why. I like setting my own schedule. I currently wake up fairly early, somewhere between 4 and 5, have my coffee, and I'm ready to go by, within 45 minutes of waking up. Whereas at a job, I had to wait around because very few jobs, in fact, no jobs that I've had, could I start that early and end my day early. So I like the idea of setting my own schedule. Now, that being said, I'll probably be working more hours. However, it will be on building something for myself, and more specifically, something that I enjoy. So, I mean, that's worth it right there, for me anyway. So, on to the how. As I mentioned before, I have done this a couple of times. The last time I did it was about 1.5 years ago. I made a move cross country. I was doing some eBay in the meantime while I was getting my feet under me. I had a work from home job at the time, so I did this on the side and in between, little things that I had to do for work. And yeah, basically I, again, didn't treat it like a business. So how this is going to be different this time around, getting to the how, I'm going to treat it like a business. I'm going to track my numbers. I'm going to be more consistent. I'm going to be stingier with my purchases. And of course, not everything's going to be perfect. I will be learning along the way. Mistakes will be made. Bad buys will happen. However, with my limited knowledge and, my ability to learn along the way, let's hope that those are cut down drastically from previous experiences and just in general. Because at the end of the day, it's all about making a profit, as we all know. As fun as, this job can be, I'm doing it to make money. Like that's the whole purpose. Yes, I want the freedom. I want the lifestyle of being able to set my own schedule and do what I want on my terms, when I want. But if I don't make the money that I need, then obviously it's not going to work. So that's where we're at as far as that's concerned. Now, for the what, I'm going to have a lot more specific detailed goals, some of which I have started, most of which I probably have not yet. What I will say, as the title again shows, 0 to 100K this year. More specifically, I'm looking for roughly $10,000 per month in revenue by the end of the year, which obviously would equate to around 120,000. If I could do it every single month starting now, which probably will not happen my first few months, if not, later. But I figured with 10,000 in revenue, after eBay fees, shipping, taxes, cost of goods, everything else that goes into it, I'll definitely have more than enough to live on and survive on. The last year or two, I've been focusing on getting my bills down as low as possible. I wasn't necessarily gearing up for eBay. I just wanted to do it. Eradicating as much of my debt as I could. Still have a couple small credit cards and stuff like that remaining, but the majority of it has been taken care of, so my monthly costs are relatively low at the moment. So as far as what I need to make right now, it's not a ton, thankfully. But, having more is always nice. So I'd like to be able to help my parents live a more comfortable retirement, Obviously have the things that I would like and want at some point as well, but more importantly, have the funds to really grow this into a full-on business, potentially even hire an employee at some point. That's not something I'm considering at this moment, but maybe down the road. It all depends on where it goes. But the biggest piece for me, aside from the money, is learning the ins and outs of eBay. Again, I have a pretty good base knowledge, but I want to learn all of it as much as I possibly can. Previous jobs, I became a subject matter expert in everything that I ever did. I enjoy that feeling. I want to have that feeling again with eBay. Right now, I am not, so that part is a struggle for me, but I know I can get there, and I'm hoping by the end of this year, I'll be as close as I can be. I don't think anyone is a true expert on eBay except for perhaps employees that work there that know the ins and outs. But outside of that, I enjoy learning. I enjoy the process. I enjoy getting better. So again, if any of you along the way through these videos, if you happen to follow along, you have tips and tricks that are proven to work for you in a similar model to what I have going on, I'm all ears, certainly willing to hear it out. But I will say I am a detail person. I need to know the ins and outs and the why behind everything. So if you want to provide any sort of insight or advice or anything like that, please provide me the why and the ins and outs of everything, if that makes sense. I'll go over this in more detail in other videos as well. This is more of just a brief synopsis and summary of what this channel is going to be about, why I'm doing it, and things like that. As far as the detailed goals, again, 10K in revenue by December 2024 per month. Again, that is revenue, not net. After all eBay fees, shipping, cost of goods, everything like that, I'm hoping to net 60 to 70%. This seems fairly reasonable if I can purchase well enough. eBay fees are, from what I've seen, 10 to 15%, depending on the category. So I'm just going to call it 15%. Shipping is probably about 5 to 7%. And then my cost of goods, I'm hoping to keep, I'd like to get a 1 to 10 for most things. So if I spend $1, I'd like to make 10. If I spend $10, I'd like to get 100 roughly. It's a ballpark that I'd like to keep there. And of course, this all depends on how well I purchase items and what type of items that I do purchase. So speaking of that, I did want to go through my current situation. As I said, I'm not an eBay newbie. I am not an expert, but I have done it. In fact, I started literally on December 1st. I did not plan for it to be the first of the month, but I did it. So for December 2023, I sold 25 items for roughly $1,104 and change in sales. That is revenue. That is including shipping. That is including fees and everything like that. So roughly, after all that's taken out, I made roughly $700 net, give or take, which is around that 60 to 70% mark, which is where I want to be. And then my cost of goods was about $200, give or take. So I ended up profiting somewhere around the $500 to $600 range, somewhere in there. As I mentioned before, I do want to track my numbers a little bit better. For December, I didn't track really anything. I'm just going by what eBay shows me as far as sales. Did not keep track of how much I actually spent. It was roughly $200 on the items that sold. I have a ton of items, which I will actually go through in a moment, that I have recently purchased in the last, I think it was the 30th and 31st. There were some pretty decent sales around my area that I couldn't not take advantage of. So I went on a bit of a spending spree, and I have a lot of stuff to list now. Right now I have 102 listings active for a total of somewhere around $4,500 worth of stuff. I don't know if I'm going to set a goal for a target amount of items in my store, but what I am shooting for is, roughly $300-ish to $400-ish per day in sales. That's kind of the goal. Again, by December. Earlier, if possible, that'd be great. So a few things that I did or did not do in December, as well as my previous times on eBay, that I am going to be changing starting this month in January is I was not consistent. I listed sporadically when I felt like it. I was still working my previous job. I have since quit. So now I have the freedom and time in order to dedicate and devote to this adventure. Had a very small starting budget. I started with $200. All in all, I've spent probably around $600 now for my entire inventory, and that's including the things that I've already sold. And a lot of my time over the last month, being December, has been spent setting up my workstation, storage, and things like that. So I have a space to be because I'm in a garage. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm in a garage, which is why I'm wearing a jacket. It's not very warm out here. So I had no space. It was just an empty bay. So I have started to create a space at this time. And I've also spent time planning how I want to attack this and make sure that I'm doing what I can to make it worth my while and make it a true business. So real quick, I will show you my current setup, which is a disaster, I know. However, again, it is on the list of things to do. So let's just take a peek here. Please pardon the mess. Today I'm actually cleaning all of this up, but I wanted to get this video out real quick. So here's my workstation. I have some boxes, some foam peanuts that I got for free, bubble wrap. I have a bubble wrap thing up here. I have packing paper coming tomorrow. That's gonna go on the other part of the shelf. So it's easily accessible right above me. I have some spare little things up here that I'm getting rid of too. I have my tape station, my scale, which I'm getting a new scale soon because this only goes up to 50 pounds and it's quite small. It works well, but I've had a few items that are over 50 pounds, one of which I'll show you in a moment. A few items that I plan on listing here shortly. And then this is literally a bin, 3 massive bags. All this stuff I still need to list. Like I said, I did a lot of purchasing. A lot of it was free. These 3 bags though, ugh. There was this business that was going out of sale. It's an old reselling business, an older couple, they're retiring, selling everything. Each of these bags, $10, just fill it as much as you possibly can. I actually went there twice, these 3 and one more somewhere. I must have already listed what it was. Were my last purchase, so $40 for those. I went 3 bags previously, so $70. But out of that $70, I got roughly $1,000 or more worth of inventory. So yeah, some random stuff. Not all of this is 100% for sale. A couple things are for my sister as well. I like to grab her some cool stuff when I can. But this is my current storage. I literally have 2 bookcases. That's it. I'm hoping to get some extra shelving this week because I have clearly all this stuff on the floor, which is I have a massive TV, sewing machine, couple typewriters, a couple of receivers, more receivers up there, a couple lamps and monitors, lots of CDs. That was a weird purchase. I'll go into that later. But yeah, so I'm hoping to get 2 more 6 foot by 4 foot by 2 foot shelves in the next week or so is my plan. I saw a couple today on Marketplace that are reasonable because brand new. They're very costly, and I don't really like buying brand new for a shelf. It doesn't make much sense to me. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, just a couple more things. I mean, again, I said I'm going to be doing roughly 1 video per week for now, hoping to ramp it up to 2 to 3 once I get a little more comfortable with it. Once the weather starts warming up in a couple of months, when yard sales start happening again. And then, again, if you do happen to watch this, thank you so much for clicking on the video. I appreciate it, and giving my face a shot. But yeah, I look forward to hopefully building a community of newer resellers that are kind of working and growing together. That's why I'm doing the YouTube thing. And the second piece of that is I want to document my journey. It's more of an accountability thing for me, because if I can't show progress to myself, then I have these videos to fall back on to kind of get my butt in gear, if you know what I mean. I really appreciate you checking this out. If you want to support my channel, that would be awesome. Just click the like and subscribe button. That would be super cool. I'd appreciate that very much. And, you know, if you know anyone else who's in the same space, or for some reason you think would find this entertaining, feel free to share it as well. That would be really cool. Yeah, I look forward to hopefully seeing some people on here and interacting with one another and helping each other grow as resellers. And yeah, I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.